Hello, hello.
Hello.
I am so excited to have an opportunity to speak with Bob Clapp today. And him and his wife, Claire, have such an inspirational story. And to have this opportunity to sit down with you, Bob, today, to not go through like a list of questions, but to really talk about your experience, what you've created for yourself. I was chatting with him right before this, just saying, like, if one person hears the story and is motivated or inspired or gets that little bit that's like, you know what, I can do it too, then that's the heart behind today's conversation.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, Bob, I would love to chat a little bit about what you are doing, and to give a little bit of context, this is day one for Bob of working in what someone would have referred to a short period ago as the side hustle, right?
That's right.
Day
Yes.
one of out of the corporate career and full-time in your business.
Into the business. Yes. Well, what we do is we are an Amazon FBA or seller, Amazon seller. We sell cremation urns on Amazon.com. I took a course through a fellow named Tom Wang a few years ago and started the business. And some trial and error, we hit on a good product, and now we're at a point where where I can leave my old day job and take this full time. So
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much even in that story, but what I would love to ask is like, why? Because I know your story. I know that you and your wife both worked in the movie industry, production industry, and were working, 6 hours a day, or 6 hours, sorry, not a day, like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, but were respected in the industry and, outside looking in, doing quite well.
yes, yeah, we had both of us have really good careers in it. Doing it, for myself, 20 plus years, and Claire was 12 plus or 15 years, I guess. For me, I've always kind of wanted to do my own thing, and again, I just kept searching, and then there was an opportunity that kind of presented itself through silly ski accident, and gave me some time to think about what I wanted to do, and focused in on an Amazon course.
Yeah.
And then decided to make the commitment, and why not? Let's try it and see what happens. And off, that was it.
And, in that though, again, it's like, okay, decided to do a course, right? And I think, what is so significant again about your story is you wanted something different. You desired different in your lifestyle. And I think it's important that we can chat about that in a moment. But starting a business, again, 20 years in a career, starting a business, it's not like I will be as bold to say 98% don't have, pile of money in their back pocket to trial and error something. And out of probably the majority of people that I've spoken to over the years, your career demanded the most time of
Yes,
the
definitely. Yeah, 50 hours minimum a week.
right?
And then also, possible, as you mentioned, Saturdays or Sundays as well. Very demanding time constraints that, not to count the 2 hours of travel per day. So, I mean, you leave the house at 6 and get home at 7. So not a lot of time.
Right. And yet you still decided you wanted something different. And I think that's like where I really want to have a conversation, because what I've seen, and we were again talking about this earlier, especially over the last 3 years, but like you said, it's been forever, where people are desiring something different, but they don't know what to do, or they're loading up all of the reasons why they can't do it. It's too late for me. I'm too old. I've already got my career. My kids demand too much time. I don't have any money to invest in a business. And again, time. You had all of those same excuses, as we will put it, but you used, and your wife used, all of those same excuses as your reason to do something. That's your reason to step forward. And again, you didn't have the luxuries behind of extra money and extra time, but you did it. So I'm curious what inspired you, or what is some of that got you to this place today where it's like your walk to work is from your kitchen to your desk.
What inspired? That's a good question. I think it was just I just wanted my own thing, and I've always wanted that. And I had a brief period of unemployment there where I could kind of really think about it and thought, well, what would I do? And then discovered this Amazon course, and that kind of okay, and that kind of presented a possibility. And then when I went to the course, I mean, they just said something that I'd heard before through other inspirational speakers. You just have to start. You just have to throw yourself in there and make a start, and it'll work or it won't work, or you'll find a way to make it work. So, but you need to try.
Well, and I like what you said there. It will work or it won't work. And I think, again, that's another really significant point is you started and it didn't just work.
No, it did not. I mean, it was tough slogging there for a full year of just trying to put the square peg in the round hole, so to speak. I mean, it was just, but it was a learning experience. I learned a lot in that period of time, in terms of, I guess, myself, my own perseverance, and just trying to learn the whole system and try and if I didn't know something, I was looking to find out why or what it was and how to do it. I mean, this particular business venture is all about finding the answers yourself. It's, I mean, there's a system, but you still need to go through it.
Well, yeah, there's a system and you need to go through it. And I think actually it just even goes back to, again, you can have systems, you can have, the exact step-by-step on how to do something, but what most often gets in the way is ourselves, right?
Yes, yeah, totally. Like there's lots of times where I went, oh God, I don't know if I could do this. And then I'd get up and leave the room and I'd walk back, and then I'd sit there and go, no, just go back in there and find it. I mean, we're lucky this day and age that the information is just available at our fingertips. Yes. When you just have to Google it or YouTube it or something, and someone's got an answer to it.
You have to have all the drive and the vision, but the drive and the vision has to be there to do that. And again, looking at your history, it was like the launching of a first product. Again, there's investment that goes into the launch of a new product. It was a learning curve for you. And again, no matter what industry somebody's in, all of these same things are relevant, and all of these same things are more likely than not going to be experienced. Where you have this vision, it's like, okay, I'm going to hit go, and it's just going to like, woof, like so amazing. But it didn't, right?
No.
It didn't just go.
No,
and
it didn't.
The significance, which I'd love you to share, is again, you were more money in and still had this, I need to do this, and invested more and got help, and just, it didn't knock you down.
No, it didn't. Yeah, no, I just kept thinking, well, if other people have done it, well, why can't I? And that was kind of it. And okay, it wasn't working. It wasn't the greatest choice. And as I searched, and as we started our relationship, business relationship, and asked you for some coaching, and we kind of started working through it together. And then, like I say, I reached out to people that knew more than I did, and or like I say, sought the information somehow to figure it out. And I think it's just that determination that I didn't want to lose. I wanted this thing to work, and I was going to keep pushing till it did, really.
Yeah. And I think, often you just said, I didn't want to lose, but to drive us, you wanted to win more.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I never thought I was that competitive, but when I look at my past history and things other things I've been involved in, I'm pretty competitive.
Not a bad trait, I'd say.
No.
But in this whole journey, the competitiveness, sure, there's a degree of it, with someone else is doing it. And I remember one of our first conversations when we met, I think it was like maybe the first time when we decided to work together, you had said, this is what I want. I was driving to work, and there was this guy, I think it was a Ferrari or a Porsche, and it was a weekday, and he had on a Ferrari or Porsche, like skis on the top. And he's like, you were like, how do you be that guy?
Yeah. In a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Driving a
how do you be
$500,000 car in the snow. Like, right? What's going on there? So
yeah. So there's these drivers that you shared with me. And I think that's what's so important here is so many of us see those things. we see like this person having a success and we're like, I'm just as like smart, I'm just as driven, but what's the difference between what they're experiencing and what the guy who's, witnessing as he goes to work for somebody else is experiencing?
I think what happens is, I think we all get so caught up and we see the end result of these people where they're at, and we don't see the start, right? And it only starts with, like, you don't need a lot of money to start the business. It's certainly, money is not always the solution to things in terms of starting a business. It's nice to have a bit, but you just need to make a start. Like we on the earns, we bought 100.
Yeah.
Right? We sold those in a month and we were out of stock. And then we went, okay, so then we bought 200 and then took the money again and put it back in and bought 300 and so forth. It's just steps, in small steps to get there. And I think that's where people, pardon me?
Still work 15 hours a day.
Yeah, and still work and still do your job.
Mhm.
But I think people are so, especially nowadays, constantly bombarded with Instagram pictures of people making tons of dough and it's so easy and that, and they forget that all those people that made that money had to work hard at some point.
Yeah.
They had to stick their nose in there and get it done.
Right?
Pardon me?
I said, and are still dedicated to what they're doing.
Yeah, and they didn't stop.
Yeah.
Those guys, like guy driving the Ferrari up in the snow, he's not, I'm pretty sure he's still working. I mean, he's still,
He might be on a call on his way up, but again, what's so important, he's decided he wants to live and experience life differently. And that's really the heart behind this message, because we can live and experience life differently, but it's up to us. It's up to us to not just wish for it, hope for it, pray for it, but to take action on it. And what you said so clearly, and it's such a great point, is taking action isn't here to the winner's line, right? Taking action is like the messy, dirty part.
Right? You just have to start. I mean, it's as simple as that. Anything you do, anything new, especially if you've never done this type of thing before, I mean, you're not going to come straight out of the gate and be successful. You need to kind of do the hard yards, and you need to just, as I keep saying, you just have to make a start. And you'll figure it out as you go, right?
Yeah.
But you just got to get in.
You just got to get in. And I think, again, what's also important, and age has nothing to do with it, but I still think it's something that's really inspiring, because often I hear in people who connect and communicate with me, whether it's a message over social platform or in face-to-face, is what people share with me is it's too late for them. It's like, oh, well, I'm, already 40, already 50, already 60, already whatever. But it's like this place, and, you're experiencing your success, not in your 20s, not in your 30s, right? But you're experiencing it. And it's not that you started even, yes, to a degree, because it's here, but you started your business only a couple of years back.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I was 56.
Right. Yeah.
Now 59, 3 years later. Yeah, no, I don't think age isn't a barrier. And I think the more we see reports of people living to 111, as I saw today on the news, it's never too late. I mean, you've got plenty of time. I thought at first, I was like, am I a bit too old for this? And then I thought, no, you're not. I mean, it's just part of it. Just keep going, right?
Yeah, no, and that's just it. And really, again, if you're sitting there and you're listening to this, you get to decide, you get to create what you want to be experiencing. And, Bob sent me a video yesterday of his commute to work, which was, again, the kitchen to the office. So I made a little joke of it, but those are the things, right? And you get to create a lifestyle. You get to live a lifestyle. You can be something different than you are today, if, again, that's what is on your heart and you're the person, because I relate to that person who's always, thinking like, I could do this, and taking those steps, because when you are connected to what you want to be experiencing, everything else starts to fall into place. And it might not be easy, right?
Well, it's certainly not going to be easy, but, but you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the process because it's something you're doing for yourself,
Yes.
right? And just keep, yeah, I have. I mean, at times it was difficult, but I enjoy where I'm at right now, and I still got a long way to go. I'm not by any means in the, driving that Ferrari just yet, but we're making steps
But what are
closer.
you driving? It's pretty nice. You can
We're not
decide.
quite there yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Cars away, I think.
A couple cars away, but that's really it again. And it's about taking those steps. And I think what's also really important is recognizing none of us are on this journey alone, right? None of us are experiencing or on this journey alone. If we have an idea, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out to those who are experiencing something that you desire to be experiencing. It's okay to, join the course and hire the coach and put the people in place to support your journey, because my dog, sorry, is interrupting our interview. It's okay to put those pieces in place, because what that does is it allows you to be the best at what you're the best at.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And focus. Through this process too, that's what I've found is that if you don't know, I mean, at some point you defer to the experts. There's other people that have done it too,
Yeah.
and and they're more than willing to help you. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised that people will really go out of the way if you ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. I mean, which is great, right? When you think the opposite, you think, oh, no one's going to help me, and I don't think that's true at all.
It's a vision I've always had, and I've spoke about it many, many times. And, often if someone's in a lower place, I've said, I refer to them as trying to pull down, right? But when someone's experiencing success, their arm is out. Like,
Yep.
they're like, come on, it is like amazing. They're so open to give support, insight, advice, motivation, whatever that is. So you just have to ask. You just have to ask and not be scared again to be vulnerable, because it does take a great level of vulnerability to step into, a brand new career, or again, just
certainly. I mean, you're definitely opening yourself up for that, and for the success and the failure. So I mean, if you're prepared for that, I mean, it's just about the risk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a risk driven thing. So.
But don't you think that everything is?
It is, of course. Everything you do in life is a risk,
right?
Yeah.
So many
people how you meet new people, how you meet your spouse or your significant other. I mean, it's all about risk, right?
Yeah. And corporate career, I would say, is one of the riskiest, because you have no control over it.
No, exactly. I mean, like I said earlier, in the film industry, it was like you got into it and you'd be laid off in a moment's notice if the show went away or your time was done. But that was the risk you took by getting in the industry. It wasn't easy at the beginning, so but it did get better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in the getting better, though, that creates that level of comfort also that can make people complacent. And I use the word complacent over contentment. Complacency is the killer of dreams, right?
Oh, certainly. I'll just keep going the way it's interesting you say that, because a lot of the people that I was working with, I told them what I was doing. They're like, wow, they're kind of surprised, and a lot of them were saying they wish they had done that, or wish they could try doing something like that. So, well, why not?
Yeah.
Right? And they're they all kinds of not excuses, but their situation, they felt they weren't able to do that, but really they are.
Yeah. And that's it also. And I'll kind of share this one last analogy that I use a lot, but it is situations, and we all have situations, but the story, we own the story.
Right.
Situations are, often we are not in control of them. Often situations are, where we work, or we have kids a certain age, or, a parent is not well. But the story we tell is in our control. Situation may not be, story is. So we all get to decide our story. We all get to pick up the pen, literally and metaphorically, every single day, and take those small steps. Say it's like you can have a 3-step ladder or a 30-step ladder. Take the 30 steps. They'll both get to the top, and one's a little easier, right?
Yeah. for sure.
So I think that's really important. What would you say to somebody who is, hearing this and like, I always have an idea, or, what would you say to them?
Oh, I just say just pursue it and just look for ways to make it happen. Right? I mean, there's tons of information out there, as I mentioned earlier, and somebody else may have done something similar. And yeah, just start. Just get into it and put some skin in the game, as they say, and get involved. And you'll find that as you gain momentum and the more effort you put into it, the more enjoyable it is, and the rewards start to come. So,
and it's amazing how the little wins inspire the next one, right?
it does. Yeah. I mean, like I was saying earlier, when I didn't, what I do is it's very computer driven, which I wasn't wasn't great at, but I certainly worked at it, and it was getting, and it was getting better and easier as I went through it. And I kept finding that information, and now it's easy.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm going to share that too, because that's just it, right? It's not like you were this computer expert that knew all about like algorithm and how to build and create and even load something, but you figured it out. You showed up every day and you learned something new continually to get to where you are today. And that's just it. We can all learn a little bit something new every day to be able to then create momentum and grow, again, building a business that supports a lifestyle that we want to be experiencing. And
there's pieces of a puzzle, really. It's just you're kind of, lots of times I would get up from this computer and go, oh, and I'd walk out of the room, and then I'd stop myself and go back in there and figure it out. And, sometimes sometimes I didn't, and sometimes I did. So, but yeah, you just have to just keep plugging away.
Yes, and that's just it. Get the focus, put the right support in place, and just go towards it, because we're all capable of creating, again, a business or financial growth or success that aligns with how we want to live. And that's the message. That's, the heart behind the work that Eddie and I do. It's we all can create something that aligns with experiences. And I think we all want experiences.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I love it. I think, again, what's so important is just, this is, again, a transition, a shift into even greater. I have no doubt we'll be popping on again in a few more months to talk about the next shift, next growth. How long have we been working together now?
2 years?
Yeah.
3 years? It was after 2 years, for sure.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. So we are just getting started.
Not done yet.
Not done yet. But a huge transition. Again, like I said, Bob's 2 years, like in the support, showing up, doing his thing, and today celebrating a massive milestone, a massive success. And again, now this energy is going to take us right into the next. So high five to you.
Hey.
High five, Claire. And for anybody, again, what's so amazing too is his product of Earns. And actually, I'll put a link below, because it's solving a problem for people. And I think that's really key also. It's like a product is a product. Yes and no. Product or a program needs to solve a problem for somebody, and cost during that stage that someone's experiencing, or the passing of a loved one. It's costly, it's stressful, and you make that process really easy for them in the sense of a quality product, which again, Amazon's a platform that's able to deliver it very timely and with confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A decent a very high quality product that's delivered to your door. And so it just takes that one of those unpleasant things you need to deal with. Just makes it easier.
Yeah, brings a little bit more ease to that. And I think, again, that's really, it's so important when looking at what you want to create, but also, again, in this, like, what we want to do is we want to support new businesses. We want to support the solopreneurs, the entrepreneurs, and, we're also good at supporting the big companies. It's like, share Bob's information, share their product, share it. Your service, there's not one of us who's not going to experience that in our lives, right?
At some point. you know.
Yeah, at some point, and it's just real. So also, please, I'm sharing this because it's so important across the board. Like support the people doing things. Support the people and the businesses that are showing up, because if all of us shared once a day somebody doing something incredible, oh my gosh, what a turn it would be for everybody's businesses.
Certainly would. Yes, that'd be great.
Awesome. I will add the link across everything. Apologize for my dog, but someone's outside. He wants to go.
Apologize for the cat.
Awesome.
Maybe
Thank you so much.
Okay. See ya.
Appreciate it.